Greetings and welcome to the Neurotheology YouTube channel's Reasons to Read series. In this episode, I'll be talking about the book The Wise Advocate by Kleiner, Jeffrey Schwartz, and Josie Thomson. I'm advocating this book because it is absolutely brilliant, largely in defining several aspects of our brain that I don't think are in that many other books. They talk largely about a high ground and a low ground mental capacity that, especially in strategic leadership, and this is more of a business book, organizational book, so it has nuggets that can apply to all of us, and talks about spirituality and broad themes that I think even in our disagreement, there's a lot in this book that we can all agree on. So as they talk about some of these different parts of our brains, the high ground they describe as in our executive function, but also we have a deliberative self-referencing center, which largely involves a part of our prefrontal cortex, which is our dorsomedial prefrontal cortex, which I talk about on this channel in another video. The dorsomedial prefrontal cortex, there are not a lot of books out there that describe some of its functions, but it helps us better understand what we're being called to do. A sense of call, a higher sense of self. The low ground function, low ground pattern that they talk about has largely with like our habit centers, but also a sense of what's in it for me, or a sense of ourself, more egocentric. So as a strategic, wise advocate in our organizations, we can think more about what we're called to do, use our executive function and our lateral or dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, thinking more, what are our largest goals, aspirations? What is the sense of call for the overall organization? So whether it's your business, your community, your family, your church, whatever it is, this is a great book to help you think more strategically. And as they talk about the deliberative self-referencing center, they describe a little bit about the wise advocate, how it's been understood throughout time in different cultures. And I just want to read a little bit about what they say. So they're mentioning how, the wise advocate can be traced back to ancient Greek concept of the paraclete. And the Greeks also associated this concept with Sophia, or wisdom, and then in Christianity is more of like Hagia Sophia, of a holy wisdom. In the Enlightenment, Adam Smith developed his version as the impartial spectator. And then philosophers have theorized for centuries about the nature and origin of this inner voice. It's been referred to as a conscious, an inner light, a voice of wisdom, or a moral compass. Christians associate it with the Holy Spirit, Jews with the still small voice of God speaking to Elijah, Buddhists with the concept of mindful awareness, and for some individuals, the wise advocate represents the judgment of future generations. For others, it's the experience of being in touch with the universe, and still others, it's simply the awareness that when looking at the situation from the outside, there's a deeper, broader perspective than simply one's own. So we can disagree about where this particular wisdom comes from. All of us have different religious or spiritual backgrounds, but how we actualize and how we become spiritual, or people that are strategic leaders, how we engage a higher ground perspective is going to change our systems, change our organizations, change our churches, change our families. So brilliant book, talks a lot about mindfulness. One of the ways they define mindfulness I find is very brilliant. It's very simple. Is mindfulness having a third person perspective on your first person experience. So being able to, some people call it look from the balcony, that instead of being reactionary and caught within a certain situation, we can look from a third person, like looking down from a higher place to say, what's going on? What am I being called to do? Using that dorsomedial deliberative self-referencing center to bring better truth, better outcomes, more love, more joy to your organizations. So a brilliant book. I think it can apply to all of us, even in our disagreement. I'm an Episcopal priest, so I have bunches of other resources for Christians on christianneuroscience.com. If you're looking for a more scholarly or interfaith perspective, I have spiritualneuroscience.com that has tons of resources from a Buddhist, a Jewish, Hindu perspective, and then scholarly perspective as well. So thank you for being here. Hope this is helpful, and I hope you enjoy The Wise Advocate. Take good care.